security of all residents and visitors in River State remains a top priority for the police. The statement urged anyone who sees a suspicious object to evacuate the area immediately and notify the police without delay. Bayelsa State High Court seat in Yenagoa has jailed a 41-year-old man, Baridapsi Nidam, to 17 years in jail for impregnating his daughter. ATN gathered that the victim had gave birth to a baby girl while the trial was pending. Nidam, who was charged with rape contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1 of the Violent Against Persons Prohibition Law by Bayelsa State 2021. The State Prosecution Counsel and Deputy Director in the Bayelsa State Ministry of Justice, Pere Amanda Ebuson, told the court that investigations revealed that the accused began defiling his daughter when she was 7. Ebuson said that the accused started by inserting his fingers into the vagina of the victim until he began having sex with her in 2020 before she got pregnant in 2022. The presiding judge, D.E. Adokeme, in delivering the judgment, said the prosecution led credible evidence and made reference to the DNA result, which revealed a 99.99% positive report that the convict is the father of the child. The court ruled that the prosecution had proved its case beyond reasonable doubt that the accused committed the offense of rape and sentenced him to 14 years imprisonment. Speaking after the judgment, Ebuso noted that the judgment will serve a deterrent to others who engage in such unimaginable acts, stressing that a strong message has been sent that the courts will not tolerate such heinous acts. Peace has finally returned to Nigeria Medical Association following an amicable resolution of the leadership crisis that ousted the state chairman, Professor Abraham, and her vice, Dr. Anyekan Etuk. Professor Abraham told journalists during a briefing on Saturday that the National Executive Council of the association had intervened to end the crisis. The chairman and vice chairman of the NMA Akwa Ibom State, Professor Abraham and Dr. Utuk, respectively, were said to have been impeached for gross misconduct, high-handedness and misappropriation of funds. The impeachment of the duo, according to the report, occurred during an ordinary general congress at the NMA Secretariat, Kilometer 8, Waniba Road, Uyo. A motion for impeachment was nominated, seconded and voted for by 71 members present at the Congress, and the Secretary of the Association, Dr. Usenobong Morgan Akpan, was voted in as acting chairman after the motion was nominated and accepted by Congress, even as the decision was ratified by the vote 61 in favor and against 13. Professor Abraham disclosed that preparation for the Association's annual general meeting which will culminate in election of new officers to serve 2024-2026 NMA year, is at top gear. Professor Abraham added that the Congress under her leadership had already constituted an electoral committee as well as the AGM committee, and both are working tirelessly to ensure the success of the two events. Edo State Police Command has announced the arrest of the suspected killer of Glory, Adekolure, a University of Benin graduate. Adekolure was said to have gone to school Uniben for her final clearance on June 13, 2024, but her remains were found under a tree on a street in the Iyowa community in Benin City, close to her house. The suspect was apprehended in Asaba, Delta State, 15 days after Adekolure's death. According to the Edo State Commissioner of Police, Funsho Adeboye, in an interview on Saturday, said the suspect confessed to killing Adekolure and at least 8 other young women. Adeboye says that the suspect has not been paraded yet, adding that the police are still investigating the incident. Following the killing of 2 policemen in Aba on Friday by unknown hoodlums, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has visited the families of the police officers to commiserate with them. 4 policemen were attacked by the hoodlums, who killed 2 and wounded 2 others in the Opobo area Road area of Aba. Speaking to journalists after the visit to the families of the victims and hospitals where the 2 wounded policemen are receiving treatment, Oti described the attack as unfortunate. He vowed that his government would fish out the perpetrators and regretted that the attack is coming few weeks after a similar incident that involved soldiers. The governor assured the residents of Abia State that there would be a change in security strategy. The governor added that he believes that by the time the investigations are over and all of the intelligence that are being gathered are put together, government would know actually where the attacks are coming from. Oti, however, stressed that his administration will not succumb to any form of blackmail. Anambra State Commander of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 4 suspects involved in illegal mining activities in the state. Parading suspects on Saturday in Oka, the NSCDC commandant in the state, Olutunde Maku, says that they were arrested on Thursday at the Ogbunike in Oyi local government area. According to Maku, the arrest was in collaboration with the federal mines officers of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development in charge of Anambra. Those arrested were identified as Namani Chidubem, Ekemezie Ifeanyi, Okoli Patrick, and Onyedika Somto. The NSCDC commandant said that the illegal mining constituted economic sabotage and posed environmental risk in the state. Also speaking, Harry Bolarinwa of the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals Development urged miners to operate with valid licenses and approved mining sites. Bolarinwa said that the warning was necessary to block revenue leakages and also get to prevent environmental hazards associated with illegal mining activities. Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees has said that Nigeria must make local government the platform for policing evolution in the country. The union said this, calling for financial, administrative and political autonomy for local government. The NULJ National President, Mr. Ambali Olatunji, said in Lagos on Saturday that the autonomy and would invite them for questioning. He further stated that an emergency security meeting was relevant with relevant stakeholders and was scheduled to address the issue. The clash is believed to have been triggered by misinformation regarding the revocation of farmland allocations within the forest reserve. No fewer than 6 people have been killed with 15 injured in suicide attack in Goza, Borno. Tragedy struck when the suicide bomber detonated an improvised explosive device in Goza town. ATN reports that the attack occurred at a busy motor park known as Maraban, Goza, Borno State. Commissioner of Police Yusuf Lawal confirmed the attack, saying that the attack was carried out by a female suicide bomber. Lawal said that he was informed by the divisional police officer in Goza that at least 6 people were killed, with 15 others evacuated to the hospital. An eyewitness who identified himself as Buba told ATN that the suicide bomber targeted a wedding ceremony. Buba said that the attack shattered the joy and celebration of the special day, leaving families and loved ones in mourning. It was learned that emergency services were rushed to the scene to rescue those injured and transport them to the hospitals in Gwaza. Gombe State Ministry of Trade, Industry and Tourism has announced plans to prohibit any business activity involving tobacco products at the multi-billion naira Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park once it becomes operational. This decision was made known during an advocacy visit by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center to the Commissioner of the Ministry. The Ministry of Justice has also pledged to develop a legal framework to control the consumption and usage of tobacco products in the state. Both ministries stated the importance of these measures for public health and pointed out the mutual benefits that could be achieved through taxation. The permanent secretaries representing the ministries during the visit reiterated the government's commitment to creating a safe environment for the people of Gombe State. Babayo Hassan Abubakar, permanent secretary of the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Tourism, expressed optimism about the potential benefits of the partnering with the CISLAC, particularly for the state's youth and children, noting that CISLAC's visit served as a reminder to the ministry's regulatory role in tobacco control. Niger State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested a tricycle operator who is a member of a syndicate that specializes in snatching mobile phones from their passengers. The arrest came after the command received several complaints of phone snatching and theft of bank savings through SIM cards. According to the command, the suspect followed work on intelligence provided by some of the victims. The state commandant of the corps, Joachim Okafo, while briefing newsmen in his office, said the criminal syndicate operates with a mutilated security number written on the tricycle, picking their victims as if they were passengers. He said the suspect, identified as Abubakar Aliyu, confessed to the crime and is providing additional information that will lead to the arrest of the other gang members. Some of the victims whose phones were recovered from the suspect narrated similar mode of operations deployed by the suspect to steal their mobile phones. The suspect, who was the driver of the tricycle, said he hired the tricycle from one RG, adding that it was the first time he engaged in the crime. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back right after this break. Please stay with us.
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. President Bola Tinubu has signed an executive order to introduce zero traffics, excise duties, and value-added tax on imported pharmaceutical inputs. In a statement on Saturday, Mohammed Ali Pate, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, said the order is aimed at revitalizing the Nigerian health sector and increase production of healthcare products. According to the minister, specified items include active pharmaceutical ingredients, excipients, and other essential raw materials required for manufacturing of crucial health products like drugs, syringes and needles, long-lasting insecticidal nets, and rapid diagnostic kits, amongst others. The order also provides for establishing market-shaping mechanisms such as framework contracts and volume guarantees to encourage local manufacturers, the minister noted. In addition, Pate stated that the order mandates collaboration between the Ministers of Health, Finance, Industry, Trade and Investment to develop a harmonized implementation framework, expediting regulatory approvals and reducing bottlenecks. Also, agencies including Nigeria Customs Service, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Standards Organizations of Nigeria, Federal Inland Revenue Service will be taxed to ensure swift implementation with special waivers and exemptions effective for 2 years. Federal government has called for more participation from the private sector in the fight against poverty in the country. The Senior Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Delu Yakubu, made the call at the inauguration of the Shola Mercy Foundation Free Skill Acquisition Program in Abuja on Saturday. Yakubu, who represented the president at the event, urged the private sectors to join forces with the federal government to tackle poverty and related issues. He highlighted the need for collective action in addressing issues such as out-of-school children, persons with special needs, widows, and Alamajiri child beggars. ATN reports that according to recent statistics, over 90 million Nigerians live below the poverty line, with many more vulnerable populations struggling to access necessities like education and healthcare. The federal government has launched various initiatives aimed at addressing these issues, but acknowledged the need for additional support and resources from the private sector. The Shola Mercy Foundation inaugurated a skill acquisition center and widows outreach program in Abo Duse community in Abuja. The foundation's managing director, Mrs. Onyeka, said this initiative is aimed at empowering individuals who lack the financial means to learn valuable skills and providing a lifeline to underprivileged widows who need economic support to rebuild their lives. Vice President Kashim Shettima yesterday stressed that a business environment that fosters innovation, creativity and productivity must be built on the pillars of President Bola Tinubu's 8-point agenda. He charged members of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council as well as ministries, departments and agencies to be driven by the dreams of all Nigerians aspiring to grow their businesses and looking up to the government for direction towards a further or future of prosperity. Shatima gave the charge during a PBEC town hall meeting held at the Bouquet Hall of the State House, Abuja. The meeting followed the successful completion of the 90-day Regulatory Reform Accelerator Action Plan. The Vice President noted that no matter the depth of the reforms introduced, the government will fail to achieve its goals unless MDA's actions or functions at their best and align seamlessly with the agenda of Tinubu's administration. He described the PBEC town hall meeting as a rescue mission for countries and titled the citizens with its critical role of creating an environment where the idea can germinate into enduring business. Dr. Jumoke Aduole, while responding to questions posed for some participants in the town hall meeting, assured that Tinubu administration has demonstrated a strong commitment to ensuring steady improvements in the country's business environment. She attributed the progress made so far in the reform process largely to the personal commitment, unwavering support and overall leadership of Vice President Kashim Shettima, even as she identified his approval for a 30-day extension of Regulatory Reform Accelerator as a milestone in the reform efforts. Chairman Military Pensions Board Paul Irumeson said the federal government has approved an electronic verification system for military personnel to ensure sanity in pension administration. Irumeson stated this while addressing newsmen on the commencement of the electronic verification exercise nationwide on Friday in Abuja. He said the initiative was aimed at sanitizing military pension administration and elimination of issues of impersonation. The chairman said the board adopted an electronic verification system to reduce the risk of traveling from one place to another and the cost of transportation owing to their old age. Irumeson said the board successfully conducted a pilot test from February 15 to March 1, adding that only 15 of the 2,000 pensioners verified failed the process. He said the little observations noticed had been used to improve on the system, and according to him, the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawale, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, had approved the commencement of the verification for the esteemed pensioners. The chairman assured that the board will carry out sufficient public awareness to enable pensioners to navigate the system with ease. Federal Safety Corps has announced plans to revoke the driver's licenses of recalcitrant drivers as part of measures to curb road crashes in the country. The FRSC Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed made this known in Abuja while reviewing the outcome of 2024 Eid-el-Kabir special parole operations held on Friday and Saturday. He said that the Corps realized more than ever before increasing need for collective participation and collaboration with stakeholders. He said Corps leverage on review exercise as a necessary tool that would help achieving the milestone recorded with the periods under consideration. According to him, prominent among the activities include strengthening ongoing inter-agency joint task force to mitigate the excesses of trailer drivers. The boss further said that the Corps had a robust engagement with the leadership of the various transport unions and security agencies, including the State Traffic Management agencies and the FCT Department of Road Traffic Services. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has released the results of candidates who participated in the Supplementary Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination that was conducted between June 21 and 22, 2024. A statement signed by spokesman of JAM, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, yesterday says that the supplementary examination was conducted for 28,835 candidates who were unable to be biometrically verified during the May 2024 UTME and were therefore unable to take their examinations. In a similar vein, the board stated that the students who were given a second opportunity to take the exam but were suspected of engaging in examination misconduct during the main UTME comprised the other category of candidates. It said it will continue to ensure that no candidate benefits from any act of infractions through the deployment of state-of-the-art technology before, during, and after its examinations. JAMB therefore urged candidates in their interest to refrain from engaging in any form of irregularity during the examinations. The board also prohibited applicants from soliciting score upgrades from fraudsters or mutilating their result sheets to manufacture fraudulent result sheets with higher scores. It also advised candidates to check their supplementary UTME results by texting UTME result to either 55019 or 66019 using the same phone number they used to obtain their profile codes at the start of registration. Organized labor, including Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, has rejected the proposal of the Southern Governors Forum to decentralize minimum wage negotiations to state governments. The NLC condemned the proposal as unfriendly and anti-worker, noting that allowing states to determine their minimum wages would be detrimental to workers' welfare. ATN recalls that the Southern Governors Forum sought for states to be allowed to negotiate the minimum wage for workers independently. At the end of a meeting held on Monday at the Ogun State Presidential Lodge in Abeokuta, the forum resolved that wages should be reflective of the cost of living. The meeting was attended by Governors Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Godwin Obaseki of Edo, Hope Uzodinma of Imo, Abiodun Oyebanji of Ekiti, Doyediri of Bayelsa, Ademola Adeleke of Osun, Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom, Siminalayi Fubara of River State, Basio II of Cross River. Reacting to the proposal of the governors, the National Treasurer of the NLC, Akeem Ambali, in an interview, insisted that the governors had no power to negotiate the new minimum wage. He added that the governors were compelled by law to implement the new national minimum wage. Ambali advised the governors to stop trying to strong-arm the federal government and labor with their request to negotiate the labor individually and rather focus on how they would implement the national minimum wage when it is approved. Ambali noted that it was regrettable that labor had to always resort to strike actions to get the government to yield to its demands. He asked the governors to make public how much they earn and subject it to negotiations. Now on business news, Central Bank of Nigeria says it will continue to implement more policies to tackle cybersecurity challenges, foster innovation to ensure stability and integrity of financial system. The Deputy Governor, Financial System Stability at CBN, Mr. Philip Ikozo, said this during a two-day Financial Institution Training Center FinTech conference that was held in Lagos. According to him, issues such as cybersecurity threats, data breaches, and digital fraud are persistent concerns that could erode consumer confidence in the system. Ikeazo said the Apex Bank, in addition to existing measures, is working on new regulations to further enhance performance and compliance. He said the new regulations will focus on two key areas: corporate governance and licensing requirements. He explained that the new regulation was aimed at improving the level of compliance and corporate governance practiced by fintechs in the country. He also said that digital banking platforms had made financial services more accessible to millions of Nigerians, fostering greater financial inclusion and convenience. He, however, says that digitalization also brought challenges that could erode trust if not properly managed. Central Bank of Nigeria raised 284.26 billion naira from investors in its latest Nigerian treasury bills. The auction, which took place on Wednesday, attracted a total subscription amounting to 773.98 billion naira, far surpassing the total of 228 billion naira of the latest auction that were an increase of 417% in the amount offered when compared to 44 billion naira offered in the previous auction, which was held on June 13, 2024. Also, total subscriptions recorded 89.8% increase for 407 billion naira, while total sales rose by 414% from 55 billion naira. The auction features 3 tenures, including 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day bills. As an instrument to implement monetary policy, the Central Bank of Nigeria can control the money supply in the economy by issuing or redeeming treasury bills. T-bills instrument provides a means for the government to raise short-term funds to finance its operations, including bridging budget deficits. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Dangiwa has said that the country's housing market has the potential to unlock $1 trillion economy. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony for the 250 housing units renewed Hope Estate in Akwa Ibom recently, Dangiwa emphasized that the housing sector could catalyze a $1 trillion economy. The project, which is part of the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program launched by the President with a groundbreaking for 3,112 Renewed Hope Cities in Kasana, Abuja in February 2024, has further covered states like Kano with 500 units Renewed Hope City and Katsina, Gombe, Yobe, and Sokoto, each with 250 units Renewed Hope Estate in the first round of groundbreaking. The minister underscored the huge economic benefits of housing construction, noting that it goes beyond improving the economies of local communities, while he thanked the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umo Eno, for providing the land for the project at no cost. He urged the other state governors to take a cue from the 12 states so far captured under the 50 billion naira 2023 supplementary budget. He assures them that their states would be included in the 2024 budget of the ministry, as the ministry planned to build Renewed Hope Estates in all the states. According to the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, the country needs an investment of over 21 trillion naira to bridge its 28 million housing deficit. In international tidbits now, implementation of community levy and reforms in the economic community of West African states tops the agenda on the ongoing 35th meeting of the Commission's Committee on Administration and Finance. The Commission had adopted a community levy of 0.5% on all imports into the region rather than the contribution from member states. However, there are challenges of implementation to the protocol adopted since 2014. Members of the committee will be in Abuja for the next 5 days to consider ongoing reforms in the Commission and the issue of community levy. ATN reports that the meeting will consider the issue of implementation of the Commission's protocol on community levies, which form the major source of funding for ECOWAS. Members of the committee are drawn from 12 member states. ATN recalls that 3 member states, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic, had signified their intention to pull out of the 15-member body. In her opening remarks, ECOWAS Commission's Vice President, Dan Tien, pleaded with member states on the need to adhere to the community protocol, especially the protocol on community levy. She stressed that remittance of community levy will allow them to ensure the good functioning of the institutions and the implementation of projects within the community. She also raised the impact the exit of the 3 countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic, would have on the community levy. The chairman of the CAF, Ambassador Emmanuel Olawale, emphasized the need for the members of the committee to sustain efforts in implementing policies and programs that enhance and promote integration. Iran on Saturday warned that all resistant fronts, a grouping of Iran and its regional allies, would confront Israel if it attacks Lebanon. The comment from Iran's mission to New York comes with fears of a wider regional war involving Israel and Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah movement. The two sides have engaged in near-daily exchanges of fire since the war in Gaza began. Such exchanges have escalated this month. Alongside bellicose rhetoric from both sides, Israel's military said plans for a Lebanon offensive had been approved and validated, prompting Hezbollah to respond that none of Israel would be spared in a full-blown conflict. The war in Gaza began in October when Hamas Palestinian militants attacked southern Israel. Iran, which backs Hamas, has raised the attacks as a success but has denied any involvement. Alongside Hezbollah's attacks on northern Israel, Iran-backed rebels in Yemen have repeatedly struck commercial ships in the Red Sea area in what they said are acts of solidarity with the Palestinians. The Islamic Republic has not recognized Israel since the 1979 revolution that toppled Iran's United States-backed Shah. Badly wounded Joe Biden looked to get his re-election campaign back on track after a debate performance that unnerved supporters and left allies of Donald Trump unable to conceal their glee. Democrats had hoped to see the president defiantly answering critics who say he's too old for a second term, while hammering Trump on his criminal record and the threats they say he poses to democracy. Instead, many acknowledged they got a flat or faltering display from a candidate who sounded hoarse for much of the showdown, stumbled over words, pulled punches, often stared open-mouthed and looked confused. David Axelrod, a senior advisor in Barack Obama's administration, said Biden's performance had confirmed people's fears about an 81-year-old being too old for the Oval Office. The president, who had spent days in mock debates at his Camp David retreat, was scheduled to begin the cleanup Friday with his largest event of the campaign in the battleground of state of North Carolina. As part of new initiatives aimed at further deepening efforts at eradicating mother-to-child transmission of the deadly HIV virus, the United States Center for Disease Control has started organizing baby shower programs where many pregnant women gather to celebrate and receive medical care preparatory to child delivery. ATN reports that the baby shower program is a U.S. CDC supported initiative geared towards preventing the transmission of HIV from mothers to their unborn babies. It is also known that the congregational approach to prevention of mother-to-child transmission. Speaking during an interactive session with journalists in Abuja, the baby shower program manager, Dr. Timothy Efuntoye, says that the idea behind the initiative is to use the baby shower event to draw pregnant women to attend and benefit from various health tips, including HIV tests and other health advisories. Explaining the initiative further, Efuntoye says that the process begins with the enrollment of congregations where priests and pastors invite pregnant women and their partners to baby shower events. He said the baby shower event, led by congregational health advisors, will involve health talks, health screening, testing for women and partners, including weight, blood pressure, HIV, hepatitis B, sickle cell, singing and dancing, gifting of mama packs, follow-up of HIV-positive participants to ensure linkage to antiretroviral treatment. USCDC said the section with journalists sought to highlight the importance of the congregational approach to the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, what is also known as the baby shower program, and how the USCDC and Nigeria are working collaboratively to prevent mother-to-child transmission of HIV and empower pregnant women in the process. Coroner's inquest into the death of the late Nigerian singer Ilerioluwa Aloba, known as Mohbad, has granted the family permission to conduct an independent autopsy and toxicology test on the late singer. The court, presided over by Magistrate T.A. Sonubi, approached the request following an application filed by the lawyers representing Aloba family. The application sought an order allowing a private licensed and certified pathologist to conduct a comprehensive independent autopsy on Mohbad's body, currently held at the military hospital in Yaba, Lagos State. Additionally, it requested permission for an independent evaluation to collect various samples, including skin, urine, blood, and other fluids obtained by the chief medical examiner of the Lagos State during the initial autopsy. The Aloba family pursued the second autopsy due to suspicions surrounding Mohbad's death on September 12, 2023. They expressed a strong desire for an independent autopsy and toxicology test to provide a second opinion on the circumstances of his death. While granting the order, Magistrate Sonobi stipulated that all legal expenses for the autopsy and toxicology process will be borne by the Aloba family. Furthermore, he ordered that Mohbad's father, mother, and wife must be present during the autopsy. ATN reports that the earlier autopsy and toxicology tests conducted by the government, presented by Professor Soyemi of the Lagos State Teaching Hospital, were deemed inconclusive. The Aloba family's legal team, led by Mr. Wahab Shitu and Taiwo Odumoshu, had previously rejected these results and called for an independent toxicology test. Vanessa Okoye, the daughter of talent manager Paul Okoye, has spoken out against social media activist Very Dark Man for publicly disrespecting her father. ATN recalled that VDM commented about Paulo's girlfriend defending her, leading to a back-and-forth exchange. Vanessa expressed her disapproval of VDM's behavior, stating that those who disrespect her father mistake their silence for ignorance. She emphasized that their focus is on building a legacy of integrity and excellence rather than engaging in petty arguments with individuals who lack vision and respect. Lagos Division of the Court of Appeal upheld a previous ruling by Lagos State High Court confirming a 5-year prison sentence for Nollywood actor Olariwaju James, also known as Baba Ijesha, for the sexual assault of a minor aged 14. The Court of Appeal, in a judgment delivered by Justice Folashade Ojo, upheld the conviction of Baba Ijesha on 2 accounts, specifically indecent touching and sexual assault of a 14-year-old minor. Justice Folashade Ojo delivered a judgment setting aside Baba Ijesha's conviction for indecent treatment and sexual assault, citing that the testimony of the prosecution's witness, Damilola Adekoye, was hearsay and therefore unreliable. However, Justice Ojo ruled that the testimony of Adekoye was a credible eyewitness account of the events that occurred on April 19, 2021, and that eyewitness testimony is a reliable and effective way to prove the commission of a crime. Furthermore, the count noted that the appellant had voluntarily confessed to the crime committed on April 19, 2021 and failed to dispute or challenge Adekoye's statements throughout the entire proceedings. Justice Ojo observed that the appellant made 2 confessional statements, one of the Sabo police station in Lagos State on April 19, 2021, and another at the State Criminal Investigations Department, Panti, on April 28, 2021, both of which are admitted as evidence in court. Now to sports. 100-meter hurdles world record holder Toby Amusan has been cleared to run on the Paris Olympics after the sport's top court on Friday dismissed appeals against the decision to clear her of a doping offense. Amusan, 27, was charged in July 2023 with missing 3 anti-doping tests in a period of 12 months, but was cleared of the offense by the disciplinary tribunal of the sports governing body, World Athletics. However, World Athletics and World Anti-Doping Agency appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport against that decision. CAS says that in a statement that its panel unanimously acknowledged that the athlete committed 2 filing failures but did not confirm the existence of a missed test alleged by WN WADA, which would have been the 3rd whereabouts failure committed within a 12-month period. Amusan says that the world record of 12.12 seconds in the World Championship in Eugene, Oregon in July 2022 and went out to win the title. She finished 6th in the World Champions in Budapest last year. ATN reports that the World Athletics Anti-Doping Rules said any athlete failing to declare their whereabouts for a doping test on 3 occasions over a 12-month period is ineligible to compete for 2 years. Rivers Angels defeated Niger Rattles 1-0 in the final of the President Federation Cup at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onika, Lagos on Saturday. It was the 9th time the Port Harcourt club will be winning the title. Blessing Ope scored the decisive goal from the penalty spot in first half stoppage time. White Ogbonda's side were awarded a penalty after Niger's Rattles defender handled the ball inside the box. Obekoli dispatched the ball beyond Faith Omilani. Niger Rattles fought hard but failed to find the equalizing goal. Bankole's side also had goalkeeper Omilani to thank in making the scores more respectable. Colombia marched into the quarterfinals of the Copa America on Friday with the confidence of 3-0 victory over Costa Rica in Arizona. Goals from Luis Diaz, Davinson Sanchez and Zon Cordaba sealed all 3 points for the Colombians, who are now guaranteed a top 2 finishes in Group D. ATN reports that Colombia will qualify for the quarterfinals as group winners if they can secure at least a point against Brazil, a 4-1 winner over Paraguay in Friday's Oda Copa contest. In the final group game next Tuesday, the Colombians will head into that game brimming with confidence after extending their unbeaten streak to 25 games at Glendale State Farm Stadium on Friday. Nestor Lorenzo's organized side have not lost since a defeat to Argentina in February 2022 and never looked in danger of changing that Friday. Liverpool star Days opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the 31st minute after Costa Rica goalkeeper Patrick crashed into Cordoba on the edge of the area. They stepped up to smash an emphatic spot kick into the top corner. Colombia also doubled their tally on 37 minutes with veteran midfielder James picking out Days at the back spot. Days poked across into the 6-yard area of centre-back Sanchez, just couldn't get a touch of the guide the ball to the net. Anthony Joshua has urged Tyson Fury to fight him while both boxers are still fresh, but says he will not sit around and wait for his fellow British heavyweight Joshua, 34, will challenge Daniel Dubois for the IBF World title on 21st September at Wembley Stadium. Fury, 35, will face Alexander Usyk in their rematch in December. A win for the Murakami fighter and Joshua could set up a blockbuster, undisputed fight between the pair. ATN reports that the super fight, potentially the biggest and most lucrative bull in the division, had been mooted for several years but had stalled during negotiations. With the recent investment into boxing by Saudi Arabia, however, there is new hope the long-awaited bull will finally materialize. Joshua is on a 4-fight winning streak and will become a 3-time champion if he defeats Londoner Dubois. After 2 fights in Saudi, Joshua returns to home soil and will compete in front of at least 90,000 fans at Wembley Stadium, the same venue where he defeated Klitschko in an epic bout in 2017. He is favourite to overcome Dubois, but having spared several rounds together in the past, Joshua says he will not underestimate the champion. Dubois, 26, beat Philip for the IBF interim title 1st July and was elevated to world champion when Ukrainian Usyk vacated his title. And that's the global news for tonight, but before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers Police begins investigation of Tuesday explosion incident. FRC to withdraw licenses of unruly drivers. Tinubu suspends import duties, VAT on medical supplies. CBN to implement policies to tackle cybersecurity. US CDC launches baby shower program. Mohbad's family granted permission for independent autopsy. Amusan cleared for Olympics doping charges dismissed. I am Enidoye Jackson. Thank you for watching. Have a very good evening. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms, on Twitter, now X at Atlantic TV Net, on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network 1. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Once again, have a very good evening.